Welcome to the Corporate Streetz podcast, and this is the only podcast that you need to ever listen to. This is the only media that you ever need in the world. We have all the informations, we have all the facts, even though facts don't matter. And this is Jerren.
And this is number one dad, TJ. Is it bad to be self-proclaimed number one?
I mean, what makes you number one? Like, how did you get to be number one?
Well, I guess it's not self-proclaimed. Like, I got a T-shirt a few years back that I was number one, and
like, is this
kids tell me all the time that I'm the best daddy in the world. So
is this verifiable?
I mean, they don't get to see other daddies or nothing, but
yeah. I don't get how you verify that.
I'm doing pretty good. They can call me the best.
Okay. I mean, well, like I said in the beginning, facts don't matter. So
there you go.
That's
what it's about.
We don't need that to necessarily be true.
Hey, bro, happy Father's Day, man. I just want to let you know. Happy Father's Day to you, dog.
That's kind of awkward to me. I don't like being told happy stuff. Especially like Father's Day by another guy. It's like, why are you telling me that?
Dude, have a happy Father's Day. I'm proud of you for being a father, brother.
Why?
I'm proud of you for being a daddy.
I was a father last week. I'm a father today. I don't know.
This is a celebration. I'm celebrating you right now. I'm attempting to celebrate you, and you giving me a hard time about it.
I guess, man. I saw, I guess this is kind of problematic to bring it up now, but I saw this, Byron, who was on the show, Anonymous, who did our intro.
Yeah.
He made a post talking about, for God, well, he didn't make it. He shared it. Let me just be clear. He didn't actually make this post, but he said he had a post. He shared a post where it said, "Guys that's taking care of their kids should be getting unlimited head instead."
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm in the crew, so like, I'm gonna spit that to the wife.
Right.
I'm like, yo, today's Father's Day. I should be getting unlimited head. You know what's fucked up? You know how much Father's Day don't matter?
They were saying, I think he was saying, that person was saying period.
You know how much Father's Day don't matter?
Wow, how much?
You want to know how much?
How much?
My whole fucking family is gone, dog. Like, the wife and kids, they on a trip out of town and shit. They ain't even here. Like, Father's Day is here and they not.
They didn't even remember it was Father's Day. Actually, I didn't.
They was like, nah, schedule that shit for this weekend. All the weekends in June, this is the one that they choose.
Yeah.
See how they do.
Yeah, I actually didn't even remember myself, to be honest, that it was Father's Day. So
I was reminded as well.
Oh, yeah.
But it comes for so many years of people not giving a shit about it. You know what, though? The Corporate Streetz listeners know that I'm not big on holidays anyway. I don't mind doing Mother's Day to celebrate mothers. They deserve as much celebration as they can get. So I'm cool with that. Oh, that's the post?
That's the post. I forgot, since we are now doing on video and stuff.
And what's her name? Karan McCree?
Yeah, that's the
yeah, Karan.
So
you need to be giving your man unlimited. You know what? How much head can you actually take in one day, though? Like, let's be real. How much can you actually take?
Well, I guess this is for the ones who, like, you know, the chicks who be like, their jaws hurt or they tired.
I'm saying unlimited, though. I'm thinking like that's multiple sessions, though. So once I get it once and I finish, like, when 1 o'clock roll around, I'm like, you know what? It is Father's Day today. I'm going to need you to come do me a favor.
I mean, I guess your yardage may vary, but yeah, unlimited, whatever that means to you, that's what it should be. It should just be nonstop until you tap. Until you tap
out.
So whatever that means.
It's kind of like, it's kind of like Old Country Buffet or whatever. You just get as much as you want until you done.
I forget what rapper.
Keep going back.
Or it was like some rapper who said, basically, chick was giving them a head till they nose bleed or something. I feel like it was C Murder or somebody.
Why would your nose start bleeding though?
I don't know, man. It's just so
Is
much
it like,
pressure
is it
or something.
Dry air or something? Like there's not enough moisture in the air.
It's that back. It's that back.
You got allergies or something.
It's that back pressure, man.
Yo,
Did you breathe into your nose?
Nosebleed.
Yeah. So
I don't want head like that. Just be clear. I know my wife listens to the podcast. I don't want head like that. I don't want my nose. I don't want to be damaged or hurt or
no. Your
bruised.
nose shouldn't bleed. Her nose is supposed to bleed.
Oh, to her nose bleed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you cool with that?
Got it. Well, hey, it's Father's Day. Like I worked hard this whole year to get this day. If your nose bleed, like you took it for the team. You a champ. She the real MVP.
Right.
So I'm with that. Apparently.
So again, let's just address this. We're doing video again. So I guess we're gonna be back on like YouTube and stuff. I mean, we could
should
right?
do it.
We could.
This
right?
works. If this works out, we going to the tube, baby.
Might
Take
as well.
it to the tube.
Might as well, man. Pick up a few extra.
Because I know you want to see my ugly mug.
Yeah, my hair's
I know
not.
you want to see it.
Yeah, sorry for being disrespectful and not having my hair cut. We just decided to do this at the last moment, so there you have it.
Man.
There you have it. All right, man. So, like you said, Father's Day.
You know what? We know that people don't give a shit about fathers, but let's talk about what people really don't give a shit about, and that's stepfathers.
Right.
If you thought fathers got treated bad, stepfathers gets no love.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty bad for them. Because the kids really, I mean, most of the time the kids don't fuck with them.
Yeah.
I guess depending on the age.
Well, if they come in younger, it might be different.
Yeah, I guess.
But if you coming
age.
into the picture and the kids are 12, 13, 14, if the kids are in their teens, you can fucking forget about it. I mean, unless you coming with money and taking them places and showing them shit they ain't never seen before, you done.
And they can't have a father either. Their father has to be completely absent.
Yeah, the father he has to be an absentee father, so he either has to just be gone, a deadbeat, a piece of shit, or deceased. Because if he's there, it's gonna be hard for you, brother.
Right, and we're of course speaking from experience.
Man, I have experience in this.
So we want to share some stories from our childhood regarding us having these stepfathers.
I didn't have a stepfather.
You didn't have a stepfather?
I didn't have a stepfather.
I could have sworn you did. Wait, I could have sworn you did, man. Like I remember,
it was my mama's husband.
I remember coming over and there was a dude named Maurice, and I could have sworn he wasn't your biological father. Your mother had married him.
Yeah,
and
so that makes him my mama's husband.
Yo, what?
That makes him my mama's husband. He wasn't my stepdad, yo.
Yeah, so that's like rule number one. Like it's like you said, once you're a certain age, that guy.
So I was 12.
Yeah,
I was 12.
Yeah, that guy is definitely just mother husband territory.
So hold on, I was 12, and my dad was the real MVP back then. He was the real MVP. So there was nobody coming in taking his spot. He was starting on the championship squad. Wasn't nobody taking his spot, bro. I don't care who was walking in. So,
all right. So
that was my mama's husband.
So do you have any particular memories of this experience that you want to share, or?
So let's get this started off right. I can't take credit for the phrase "my mama's husband." That phrase was coined by my boy Steph P.
Okay.
Steph P coined that term. I think he was the first one in the crew who had a stepdad, and we was like, "Yo, that's your new dad, dog?" He's like, no, that's my mama's husband.
Oh, okay.
I was like, you know what? That has a nice ring to it.
See, by the time I met Stephen, by the time I met him, that guy was gone.
Yeah, that guy was out of there.
His mother was single the whole time I knew her, or knew him.
Oh, okay.
This was only a few years.
Well, nah, man.
I mean, she might have been getting banged out. She might have been getting banged out when we wasn't around.
That's possible. That's possible. Hey, people have needs.
But as far as I can see, she was You know what I'm saying? She was just holding it down in their basement.
Yeah, man.
And I don't mean any shade
She
about
was
that.
holding
That's
it
just where her room was in the basement.
That's what she liked her place to be, man. She wanted to be comfortable, and she wanted other people to be in another place. But that's neither here nor there. Steph P coined the phrase, his mama's husband. And when my mama got married, that shit made sense to me. Steph P's dad was in the picture. He loved his dad. So this new guy wasn't finna come through. Actually, but Steph P was younger than me, though. I think he was like 10 or 11. I don't know what his beef was with the new guy. He was a church-going man and everything. So I don't know what his beef was. But when it came to be my turn, I took a page out of Steph P's book, and homie was my mama's husband.
Okay.
So I employed that same thought process when I was 12. All right. Now, so check. This is how homie got in, okay? I remember this very vividly. Homie was the cable guy, all right? And
was he like originally? He was originally the cable guy, or did he just so happen?
He was originally the cable guy.
Okay.
And he shot his shot, and my mom let him slide through.
So you standing there like, oh shit, man, we about to have Nickelodeon and all this shit.
I wasn't around.
All I knew you just came home and you had it.
Yeah, I was getting a warning that cable might be going away, but it never went away, and then homie was coming around.
Oh, so he saved y'all.
Yeah.
Because the cable was about to get cut off, and he hooked it up.
Yeah, he hooked it up, and so
he
kept, and from what I understand, he kept trying to get at my mom's, and my mom's wasn't trying to hear it.
I was just gonna say, can we be frank for a second here?
Yeah.
So
go for it.
I mean, we're all adults here. So basically, the cable guy. This is back when cable guys could just hook you up with the cable. You know, they didn't have to have they just could plug it up and be like, oh, forget it. You know. Yeah. And he was basically trying to use his cable to try to basically slide in
to shoot a shot. Yeah, definitely.
Like, I mean, like look, he felt like he had enough power being a cable man that he can like knock down chicks behind it.
I don't know. I mean, if I was a cable guy, that is a power, and I would feel like I have some sort of power. So
were cable guys like the most powerful niggas in the streets back then?
No, maybe the telephone man. Maybe the telephone man.
You think the telephone?
Because you never saw the electric guy. You never saw him.
Well, yeah, but he didn't. I mean, obviously he can cut your power on and off, but the cable man, like they could like hook you up with HBO and everything. So
yeah, but you need that phone though, dog. There was no cell phones back then. You need the phone.
Okay.
So the phone guy. You ever saw the telephone man? You know what I'm saying?
They never made
you saw the cable.
They never made a movie.
You saw the cable.
They never made a movie about the telephone guy. They made a movie called The Cable Guy.
They made a song about it though. They made a song about it first.
True.
Mr. Telephone Man.
True. Right? Okay. Touche.
So, all right. So, homie, I guess that's what he had to shoot his shot. From what I understand, he was trying to get at her for a while, and it wasn't working out. And he shot his shot, and this time she let him slide through. Next thing I know, she's dating this guy. Now, when homie was outside of his uniform, his car was cold. He had an Oldsmobile. It wasn't a Cutlass. What was it?
Stepdads always drive Oldsmobiles, by the way.
Dog, it was
it's like a requirement
because Oldsmobiles don't exist no more.
I mean,
he had an Oldsmobile
of the 80s and 90s,
and it was like the big joint too. Like it wasn't a small boy. It was the big joint, but it wasn't a Cutlass though. What was it? Anyway, he had an Oldsmobile. It wasn't old school. It was a new car.
If it wasn't a Cutlass, does it even matter? Like that's the only one that was good. That was the only cool one.
This was more like the family joint. Like,
yeah, the big four-door sedan.
It reminds me like it should have been a Buick is what it should have been.
Yep.
Because it was a long like family car. I don't even want to call it a sedan because it was so long. The shit was like a boat. But anyway, so homie had an Oldsmobile. It was clean, dog. It was clean as a whistle. It was always shining. I rode in it like a couple times. The gas was always super full. Like these are memories that are very vivid that I had. We went over to his crib. Crib was spotless, bro. crib was spot. It looked like homie didn't even live in it.
Yeah, the bachelor's pad. He never knew when he's gonna have to bring home one of his cable customers.
Yeah, exactly. He and they kids, right?
Yeah.
So, dog.
No, he cleaned up his shit because he knew y'all was coming.
You know what though? I mean, if you living by yourself, is there really that much to clean up unless you just nasty?
You would think so.
You a grown man, so yeah, dog. It shouldn't be that bad. And so my mom must have been in her early 30s then. I'm guessing. Yeah, she was early 30s when she met homie. And so homie is 30 years old. He got his own crib. Shit was looking clean. Car was on point. Super wash. Tank full of gas. It was all good, right? So fast forward to when they became an item, all right? And so they married now. And the next memory I have is finding out that everything in his crib was national renter owned, dog.
I knew it was something.
And for those who don't know what national renter owned is you basically go into this store that's like a supermarket for like home living, for home goods, and they have TVs, they have beds, they have everything for your crib, dog. They have coffee tables.
They have Sega. They
have decorations. They have paintings. They have everything.
I remember the only thing I remember about National Rental on my friend Dwayne said that he.
Oh, hold on before you go there. But this is the key though. So they got all this shit, right? And you can buy it and take it to your house, and you pay on it on a weekly basis.
So you rent it.
And so you're renting it. You're like leasing it. And so you buy this TV, and it's a $1,400 TV, but you're paying $32 a week on it, which is like $128 a month. And you pay that shit for 28 months or something. And you paying a lot more than what that TV is worth, but you're basically renting it. So we went to this dude's rental house, like everything in this apartment. Like, for all I know, homie got it like a couple days before we came through. It's like, so look, I need y'all to come. Yeah, y'all can come to the crib anytime you want. But look, why don't y'all just come next Saturday? No, not tomorrow. Next Saturday. Why don't y'all come then? For all I know, he went and got the whole shit.
Because all the shit was going to be there by then.
Yeah, exactly. And so when homie moved in to our place, because we didn't go to his place, he came to our place.
Of course. He had nothing.
When he moved in, all he had, the thing that he did have, I enjoyed it though. He had like a 250 disc CD player with like some really tall, like 2 foot high speakers.
Yep.
2 foot, 3 foot speakers. Right. And so it was a dope stereo set, which I believe was probably rent to own as well. But he was like, well, she already got a couch. She already got TVs. She ain't got this dope ass stereo, so I'm gonna keep paying on that.
So my only memory of National Rental on, I don't even think I've ever been in there, but my friend Dwayne has said that he was getting his Sega from there. He got a Sega Genesis from there.
They had gaming consoles?
Apparently. I want to say he was going to get a game from there too, but they definitely had the consoles. So
I didn't know that. Yo, I didn't know that.
And I was thinking it was such a lick to get one from there. I never did. Like,
instead of going to the store and paying $200 for it, you can pay $8 a week.
I think
you had that motherfucking 3 years.
I think that's what he said. You know, he basically was like, you gotta pay $8 for it. I was like, how you get a Sega for $8? You know?
Oh man. So okay. Homie moves into the crib, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I remember very vividly. Dude started changing rules and shit. So peep this now. I'm 12 years old. I've never, ever, ever had a phone time to get off the phone. My mom's never. She knew that I would get off the phone and I would wake up and go to school. She didn't give me a time. I never had a bedtime. I knew what time to go to sleep to be productive at school. At 12, I didn't have that shit. Well, when he came in the picture, he had a bedtime. Like, I had to get off the phone at like 8:30 or some shit.
Did you just have the one phone line?
To be in bed by 10.
Did y'all have just one phone line? Or did you have your own number?
See, I think I got my own phone line when I turned 13. So at this time, we only had one phone.
Okay.
I think this is the time we only had one phone.
Okay.
I did end up getting my own phone line. I don't remember if I was 12 or 13. I think I was 13 because I ended up moving in the basement. And I had my own phone line then. But I remember when he was telling me about my bedtime and shit, I was still rooming with my younger brother. And yeah, man, the time he had me going to bed, you know what? It did give me enough time to watch Mama's Family though, so I was cool with that. As long as that's what I wanted to stay up to see Mama's Family. When Star Trek come on, I know that shit is too late because I ain't trying to watch Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek came on at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's when homie talk about I had to be in bed and shit. And then this is the killer though. My moms used to take me and Steph P to the mall. Like on the weekends, like, yo, we want to go to the mall. Can you take us to the mall? She'll ride us to the mall. Homie came through when he solidified his spot. Homie changing the rules. He like, yo, you ain't got to take him to the mall. Have him catch the bus. I'm like, catch the bus? I ain't got to catch no bus. My mom takes me to the mall and she picks me up. And like, I tried to reason with her and homie brainwashed her, dog. That's all I can say. He brainwashed her. She stopped taking me to the mall and shit. She made me catch the bus.
Wow. It seems like stepfathers always step in and fuck up everything.
Yeah, they fuck up everything, dog. And if you want to be liked as a stepfather, don't come in trying to fuck up everything. You need to come in like with gifts. You know what I'm saying? You need to be coming in bearing gifts so you can be a friend, Joe.
You should basically be Santa Claus.
Fucking up everything.
You should basically be Santa Claus.
Yeah. Okay. So hold on. We ain't done. He brought baggage with him.
No, I'm just saying. I just want to jump in and interject that they seem to always fuck up everything.
Yeah. Hold on. I just want to let you know I'm not done. He brought baggage with him. He brought kids with him. Okay. So his kids moved in, and now they cramping my space because I had the whole basement to myself by this time.
So his kids actually moved in.
Dog, did you not hear me?
They moved in.
Cramped my style, bro. Like, I had the whole basement to myself. I had a couch down there. I had my bed down there. I had a weight set down there so I can pump a little iron and shit. And they cramped my whole shit. I had to share my room. I wasn't feeling that.
Did you actually use the weights?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Or I thought I did. I mean, I didn't have no plan, no fitness plan.
I was going to say, man, it didn't look like it back then.
Yo, I looked small, but I wasn't no punk though. I wasn't no punk.
You did do the backflip. So
yeah, man.
Or you did lift up that grate that one time. Your keys got when Cortez threw your keys in the thing.
And Cortez tried to flip me that time in that fight, and I did that flip and landed on my feet.
That must have been
agile,
that must have been the weights. All that weight training you was doing.
Yeah, it was. It totally was. I was open to being friends with the kids though, bro.
Okay.
They was one was 1 year older than me, the other was 2 years older than me. All right, and one of the brothers, or the one that was 1 year older than me, we got the same birthday. We both left-handed, and so we bonded. We bonded very easily. You know what I'm saying? We was left-handed Libras together.
Back when it was that simple, it used to be really simple to bond with somebody over some shit like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, oh shit, you left-handed too? Right. Oh, your birthday is when?
Like, oh, we brothers.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
and we brothers, right?
Yeah.
And then, but physically, we were complete opposites. Though.
So hold on.
He was taller and he was buff and all kinds of.
So, question. So these kids never came around before they were married?
Nah.
They didn't even come to visit?
I didn't know these cats, bro.
So they actually got married, and then for whatever reason they ended up moving in, but they just never came to visit at all or nothing.
I didn't know these cats, dog. I mean, granted, they got married, I guess you can say pretty fast. It ain't like they dated for like 10 years or no shit like that. I don't know. I don't recall how long they dated.
But even if it's a couple of months, I mean, you would think the kids would have came around at least once.
Nah.
Or say,
I didn't know them cats, bro.
Okay.
I didn't know them cats.
Interesting.
So, yeah, man. So, physically, we were total opposites and shit. And the brothers seemed cool at first, and then they start causing trouble. All right. Well, the younger brother was cool. So the one that's 1 year older than me, he was cool. But the big brother, the one that's 2 years older than me, that fool started causing trouble. And so I tried to be cool with him. Fast forward a couple years, that nigga robbed me blind, bro. Robbed me blind. He took every stitch of clothing that I owned except for the shit that I had on that day. He took my Eastlands. He took all my No Limit CDs I was buying. I was buying No Limit CDs every 2 weeks. I must have had like 15 CDs. That was just No Limit. That's not including everybody else. That's not including my DJ Quick, Safe, and Sound. That's not including my Death Certificate CD. That's not including none of that. He took the Super Nintendo, and get this, he took 007 too.
So how old?
He took 007.
Yeah, that's disrespectful. How old were you at this point?
16.
So he was 18.
16, 17.
So he's 18, 19. Okay.
Yeah, he did some shit to get kicked out the house, and he conned his brother to let him in, and he let him in, and he walked him out, but I think what he did was he unlocked one of the doors on his way out. He just came in when everybody was gone.
Why don't I remember this happening? I mean, I remember.
You don't remember me getting robbed?
I remember you
bro?
telling the story later, but I don't remember.
Oh, you know.
I don't remember.
You probably don't remember it because that was the year that I went to Career Academy. I went to Career Academy for 1 year for the first semester of junior year. So I was wearing uniforms, but he took everything, even my uniforms. He even took my boxes, dog. He took every article of clothing that I had that was clean inside of drawers, and I feel like everything must have been clean because I didn't have nothing but what I was wearing.
Okay.
He took everything, dog, everything.
Okay.
And to top it off, he took 007.
That would have been on Nintendo 64.
Oh, I said Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nintendo 64. He took the Nintendo 64. You're right about that.
Absolutely disrespectful.
And so, now this sounds like it's about the kids and everything, but nah, it's about my mama's husband because he bought the baggage with him. You know what I'm saying?
So did he do anything to rectify this? Like, did he ever get the stuff back?
Homie wasn't good with money, so that's the next thing. So
No. I mean, he never went back to his son and got the stuff back, though.
Nah. Now that I think about it, I don't know why he didn't or why he couldn't. I mean,
so
I don't think he can find the son. I don't know if he looked for him or what. I don't know what happened with that.
Man, come on,
I just know I didn't have shit.
Jay-Z can get 92 bricks back, but your stepfather can't get Goldeneye?
First of all, it's my mother's husband, and nah, he didn't get that back.
I mean,
and so, like I said, homie wasn't good with money. So just when you thought shit was gonna get better, cause we got 2 paychecks in the home, mom's got relief, right? Like, yo, we got 2 paychecks in the crib.
Yep.
We moved into a new spot. We moved into a house. Shit's about to be good. Nope. Shit got worse, cause now she pissed because he ain't holding up his end of the bargain. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't that good with money. So.
Yeah, no shit. He furnished his whole house from National Rental Home. Then he had a fucking Oldsmobile from Enterprise that he never returned or something, you know, like
yeah, man. So you got anything you want to tell? I done told my story. You done got me riled up. I'm amped.
Yeah, man. Now it's my turn. So I didn't have a stepfather at first. I had my mother had gotten a boyfriend, and and so I remember him just popping up one day. I was actually about the same age as you. I feel like I was like in middle school when he popped up. Definitely was in middle school when he popped up, and he came one day to take my mom to because I feel like she told me she met a guy at the gas station, and
oh shit,
and that
did he offer to pump her gas? Like,
I don't know what he did, but I just remember one day
he shot a shot though,
right? And I remember one day he came over and he was like taking her to the airport because, you know, she's going out of town or whatever. Okay. He had a ride to the airport, and then after that I would start seeing him. You know, he would start coming over a little bit, and I'm looking at him like, okay, I really don't like the way this guy looks. He looked like Bokeem Woodbine. You know Bokeem Woodbine from the I Am Mad at You video.
Yeah. Got that big bald almond shaped
Yeah,
head.
he's all caught up, and he was on Dead Presidents, Bokeem Woodbine.
Yeah.
So that's what he kind of looked like. And just something about him, man. He just looked sneaky to me. And then I found out he smoked cigarettes.
Okay.
I don't feel like he smoked in the house, but he did smoke cigarettes. I think he would just go outside and smoke.
Okay.
But so one day I remember something popped up at the house, like some type of TV or something. And I'm like, it's a big TV, that's cool.
You was all in.
But something ain't right about this. And
'cause you ain't see no box, you ain't see no no tissue paper or nothing.
yeah, I'm like, it's like a 32-inch TV, which was huge back then. Or
That was
whatever.
big back in the day.
And I'm like, what's up with this TV? And she was like, oh, this is James's TV. He's just,
while we got it.
yeah, he's just gonna leave it here.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, okay. And so I already knew like there was some fuckery going on, but it's a big TV, so I'll let it pass. And then he eventually, and here's where our stories intersect. He eventually, well, hold on, this comes a little later. So then after the TV came, then here's where the stories intersect. Here comes the big CD changer, 100-disc CD changer with the big 3-foot, subwoofers, the big ass speakers. So apparently every single nigga back then had to have a 100 CD changer. So I just had my 5.
Dog, who got 100 CDs anyway?
I didn't have 100 CDs, but I had it.
Not at that time.
I had a good 32 at least, or 48. I think my thing was. But yeah, 100-disc CD changer.
Oh, speaking of that, dog, remember you had to type like the names of the CDs, so like you
manually add them
number
in.
7 was.
Yeah.
You manually had to type that shit in.
Yeah. I remember programming all my shit in there too.
Yeah, man.
So
So I know that my CDs was like number 48, 49, and 67.
Right.
And I know the names of it and shit. Yeah. Go ahead.
So that I found that kind of funny that they both had that. Oh, another thing that they had in common. So the cars. James. So again, he's not my stepfather, but I'll get to that. And so he had like this Buick, big 4-door Buick.
Yeah.
It was
The
actually
family joint?
he didn't have that at first. I think he had a truck. No, did he have a Buick? Yeah, he had the Buick first, and it was clean. It was just like a big 80 4-door rag top beige Buick thing.
All right, but was it clean or was it shining?
Yeah, it was clean. He would keep it clean.
Kept it
Like you
clean?
say, he kept it super clean. You couldn't do nothing in it. You can't eat in it, and none of that stuff.
Yep, we couldn't eat in it.
And so, and the carpet's all immaculate, and it's like the velour seats and everything, but it's just a typical stepdad car, I guess. Like these stepfathers all have the same MO. So
Yeah.
so he had an apartment, and I remember my mom saying that I forget what the reasoning was. I don't know if his lease was really just up or whatever, but I don't feel like that's what she told me. I feel like I know what it was. She said that he was moving and he's going to keep some of his stuff at our house instead of having to put it in storage or whatever, or he's going to have some in storage and put some in the house. So she actually lied to us to kind of sneak him into the house. And I wish I should have got Kim here. Kim is actually in town. I should have got her on to tell her what she thought about it.
Dog,
but
that'd have been hilarious to hear her perspective of it.
Yeah. But so that's what she said, and that's what she said, and then I knew he wasn't gonna leave. There's certain things that a person would do. Or like this happened at work to me, where they gave us like an extra responsibility and said it was temporary, and I'm like, ain't no way this is temporary. Once they let you let that foot in, they are in, and that's exactly.
And once you show that you're capable of making it happen, why would they take it away?
Right.
Like who else they gonna give it to?
Right. And so he moves in. Like you, he also had a son, like your stepdad. He also had a
My
son.
mama's husband. My mama's husband.
He also had a son, right? And his son was my age. I think we were even in the same grade. Well, we were the same age, but he had flunked a grade. So I used to always, whenever we would get to Jonah, I would always talk about how he flunked. How stupid he was. And he was a cool kid, though. I mean, but, he was my mom's boyfriend's son, so, I couldn't show him too much love.
Yeah.
And so, let's see. Like I said, he eventually moved in. So I remember feeling way back then, like, man, this dude is a leech. Like, he's moving in with us from an apartment. I don't care what kind of shit he has, but he's moving in with us. So he just came up. In my opinion, he came up because he came from an apartment to a house.
Right.
And so,
and how much is he really paying? Because I know he expect that if she was paying him without him, how much does he really have to pay?
So my mom was doing just fine without, like, we never had like power getting cut off or nothing. We didn't have cable, so when he came, he did. I guess he needed his cable, so
at least he got the cable.
So we at least got cable coming in when he popped up.
All right,
he
did something.
That was the one thing that he contributed it to our household.
Speaking of that, so when he moved in, did the car change? Because I forgot to bring that up. When the marriage happened, I told you that all that shit was national renter on, and all that shit went back. None of that came to the house because if we already got shit, there's no point in paying or leasing some other shit, right?
Right.
But that car though, dog. Remember I said it was always clean and the gas tank was never under full. Like it always had gas. Dog, all that shit flipped. All that shit reversed. The car wasn't clean like it was. Like, it reminds me of like Cinderella, and then 12 o'clock hit, and then like all this shit it just flips over.
Well, like I said, that car thing, I think that might have been. So he still had the same car, it just wasn't clean no more.
He did have the same car.
So that was the mask. That was the dating introductory mask where you're gonna be taking her on dates and shit, so you're gonna keep the car super clean. But then once it got settled in.
Yeah, man.
He didn't care.
He let all that shit drop to the floor. But go ahead.
So James didn't do that. His car stayed clean. He actually was able to. I mean, since he didn't have to pay rent anymore, he was able to boss up and get him a truck.
Cause he ain't had that rent payment.
Yeah,
he was able to boss up.
And he got him like an old pickup truck.
That's funny.
And it was actually pretty clean too. I feel like I even drove it to school once.
Oh shit.
He was around for a while, needless to say. But yeah, so yeah, he was able to boss up and get a truck. So fast forward a little bit. So my mom was like, okay, we move into a new house. So, she was doing very well. We got a newer, better house. And I remember looking for houses, and he was looking with us. And I'm like, man, you really are a bum.
So how old are you now, dog?
So I'm like in high school at this point, and I'm just sitting here thinking like this guy is looking for a house that he's not gonna be on. I was old enough to know that he wasn't gonna be like on the mortgage or on the deed, and he's going with this woman and her kids to look for a house.
Yo,
where he's not gonna have a name.
Stop right there. That's kind of bad, right? Like,
I think so.
It just don't seem right. I mean, I guess nowadays in 2018, we're supposed to be looking at this equally, and so women want to be viewed as equal, as they should, because they are equal. So long gone are the days where we feel like men have to be the breadwinner. You know what I'm saying? So if the woman is the one that got you, and she's the one with the crib, and you move in with her, it shouldn't be looked at as terrible anymore, technically, right?
I don't think it necessarily needed to be looked at as terrible then if he really has something to bring to the table. Was he handy?
Did he bring anything?
I don't remember. He brought a pool table. And you know what? That's like the heaviest shit in the world. I had to help bring it down the steps.
Yeah.
Them big ass. Have you ever moved the pool table before?
I haven't moved one, but I know that they heavy.
Have you ever tried to push a fully put together pool table? You can't, because it's like 3,000 fucking pounds. Like them slates was probably like 200 pounds a piece, dog. And trying to carry these things up and down steps. Oh my God, it was so heavy, man. And
were you able to play it, or were kids supposed to stay off of it?
No, I was able to play it.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I was able to play it. Because he didn't have it at first. He got it after he moved into our house. And this is the old house.
So instead of putting money on the rent or the mortgage,
he was able to boss up, dog. I told you, he got that pool table. He got that car. He got that truck and the pool table.
So instead of getting himself together to get his own crib, he goes and buys a pool table.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, babe, I got mortgage for this month, he went and bought a pool table.
He got a pool table, man.
Okay.
That's what he got.
So he got a car and a pool table. That's what he brought. He ain't bring no food. He brought a car and a pool table. Okay.
That's all I remember,
Keep
man.
going.
And so we got into the new house. I'm really not sure what was going on, but I remember there was some type of situation where he ended up yelling at me.
Okay.
And whatever was said, or however he said it, I felt like I needed to leave the house.
Oh.
And so our new house was actually just about a mile away from my father's house. And so I was able to get on my bike and just ride my bike to my father's house.
Yo, did your dad get the strap?
Well, hold on. So coincidentally, this was also the same day. So I remember riding my bike and I'm like crying, and just for dramatic sake, I was crying. I don't know if I was for real or not, but I believe I probably was. But
that sounds theatrical. Like that's what happened in your life movie, though.
And it sounds like something I would do.
Yeah. And
so I probably was crying riding down the street, and this is also the same day. And I talked about this. It was one of the shows we used to talk about racism, which is probably almost every other show. But I told the story about how somebody drove by and called me a nigger. So all this shit is happening. Like I'm running away from home. I'm riding down Old Harts Ferry, and these kids drive by and say, "Nigger," you know. They did a drive-by nigger on me. And so I don't know if my father was there or what, but nothing really happened. Whatever it was.
You didn't tell him to get the strap?
No. Why would I? No, I don't think anything really happened of that. I don't know. So my father, from his perspective, a long time ago, he actually knew James. He stayed across the street from my aunt.
Yeah.
And he said that he beat him up or his brother up or something, like way back then. So I don't know.
So your dad beat up his brother or beat him up?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was his side of the story anyway.
Right. So anyway, so I remember that happening, and I just shared that just because, you know, it was always some shit. I remember Kim, she really didn't get along with him either. So fast forward to about junior-ish year. And my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I remember my grandma came up, you know, I guess this is like right when she was about to start going to chemo and shit, or have surgery or something. And my grandma came up, and I forget if they was like, my mom and James was beefing at that time, but I remember my grandma telling him to get his ass out the house. And that was pretty much it, man. That was it. Like, my grandma came and put her foot down. I don't know if my mom had been trying to put him out or whatever, but my grandma came and put her foot down, and that was the end of his chapter.
Oh, he was gone?
He was gone, just like that.
Dog, you should have called Granny years ago.
She had to move out.
Dog, you could have called Granny. You crying and going to your dad's house. You should have went to your grandmama's house.
Yeah. So later, like after I was out of high school, my mom did end up finding somebody else and got married, and they're still married. So I was too old to have a stepfather. So the whole thing. So the whole thing with Stephen coining that. No, I think that's just something that a kid who really doesn't want that shit, like that's just what they naturally say, like my mother's husband, and they would look at you serious as fuck, you know, like oh, is that your father? Dog. Like, no, it's your stepfather? No, that's my mother's husband.
Dog, I've never heard nobody else say that shit. Stephen coined that shit.
He coined it for you. He ain't coined it for me. I never knew Stephen had a father.
No.
I never knew he had a stepfather. I never knew he had anything but a sister.
You said your mama got married in high school.
Yeah.
We was in high school already. You heard us talking about mama's husbands already.
No. I don't remember y'all. I definitely don't remember him discussing anything about his father or stepfather. I didn't know he had one. and then you, I don't remember, like that wouldn't have been something we were discussing in high school. We was like on bitches and stuff. So
I mean, if somebody slipped up and asked about my dad or my stepdad, I was quick to clarify that no, that's my mama's husband.
See, all I remember, I remember your father had got you a car.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I remember about your father. And then I think after we graduated, I feel like y'all had some kind of party or barbecue or something at your house. And that was the only time. Yeah. That's the only time I saw your stepfather. I mean, your mother's husband.
You mean? Oh, okay. Because my dad drove down from Cali for the graduation gathering.
Okay, so was that what that was?
Yeah. So my dad had drove down, and so we had a party, and my mama's husband was there too. Obviously, he lived there.
Yeah.
So
that. So for me though, since I was so old, so my mother got married. It was after I was married, so I might have been like 22, 23 or something. And you know, at that point, there was no need to build a bond. Because I already have a father who's still, you know, who I know and everything. So that's pretty much where that starts and ends. There's really not much else to that story.
He ain't have to deal with being a stepdad.
No, he didn't. It's probably easier for him to.
Yeah, it was easy for him. Now, there's one thing I want to say, man. We fast forward to adulthood. Do you see anything differently about your mother's boyfriend? Do you see it differently? Because I see things a little bit different now that I talk about. Like, I have these stories and how I felt at the time about my mama's husband. As an adult now, I do feel like the things that he did, like changing the rules, changing the whole bedtime and the phone shit. Sure, I had my system set up the way that I wanted it, and my mom was cool with it, but he came in and changed that shit. As an adult now and as a father now, I see that he was trying to put some structure in.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I can look at that differently now. And if you want to be real, hell, because of him, I learned how to catch the bus at like 12 years old. And I don't think my mom's would have been so apt to teach me how to ride the bus, because she probably wouldn't have put me on the bus. But thanks to him and him hating on me, you know what I'm saying, hating on me and my mama's bond, I learned how to ride the bus, dog. So shout out to him for that. And as far as his kids, I'm still cool with them. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm cool with one of them. That nigga that robbed me blind, next time I see him, we got some shit to talk about, because he owed me. So
you probably still wear this. You probably could still fit the same clothes, right?
Nah, I'm a little buffer now, you know.
Nah, I'll be some clothes with
it. Yo, but homie had me in a real bad position at 16, yo. We gotta talk some shit out before we get back cool again. So
okay.
But at the end of the day, the experience wasn't that bad. As a kid, it was fucked up. He came in, he changed up a bunch of shit. He brought his damn thieving ass son. The other one was cool. I'm still cool with him to this day. He made me get on the bus and shit when my moms used to take me wherever I wanted her to take me, and all I wanted to do was go to Northwest Plaza, to go to the mall, to go to the Tilt and play arcade games and shit.
Right.
But he did help me learn, because he wasn't the one that taught me to ride the bus. He told my mama to make me ride the bus. She taught me how to ride the bus. Like, she told me how to read bus schedules and shit. But she wouldn't have made me do that if it wasn't for him pushing her to do it. And so I guess I got to give him a little bit of that credit. So that's that.
Yeah. So for me, no, I feel exactly the same way about him as I did then.
He was a leech.
Yeah.
He was a blood sucking.
There was no redeeming
leech.
qualities about him. There was nothing that I grew up in to see like, oh, he was trying to do this. No, he was just,
he was just a leech.
trying to boss up. He got his truck and stuff and got us 100 disc CD changer, and he was good.
Yo, shout out to him for bossing up at a gas station, dog. So at a gas station, he was able to meet a woman that was so boss that he can leave his apartment, not pay mortgage, not pay bills, bring his CD player, his pool table, get a new truck, bring his TV, and he's good to go for a couple years, dog.
He showed that heart though. Yeah, he showed that heart at the gas station, man. That's what you gotta do.
Dog, he shot his shot and he scored, dog. So let that be a lesson. Shoot your shot. You might not have to pay rent or mortgage for the next few years because you might boss up at the gas station.
Yeah, man. You never know.
If you a cable man, you work for DirecTV, you knock on that door, you shoot your shot. You know what I'm saying? Because you might be able to take back all that national rent-to-own shit. You might not have to pay for that shit no more because you move in with that woman and her kids.
Yeah.
Maybe you can do that.
Yeah. No doubt, man. All right, so you want to go ahead and fast forward to adulthood?
Yeah, man.
So
let's do that.
Again, we have in common, we both have become stepfathers in our adulthood, right?
Yep.
And
technically,
did you want to start this one off first, or you want me to go?
Sure, I can start off. So when I met my wife and we started dating, she had a son already.
Mm-hmm.
And so my son, well, for the sake of not confusing the listeners, my stepson, if you will, he was 2 years old. And it was pretty easy to slide in because a 2-year-old doesn't have much say-so. You know what I'm saying? It would have been a much different conversation if the youngin was 12.
Right.
So my son, he was 2. And his biological father, he was super cool. We never had any issues. We didn't have any problems. We wasn't beefing. He was in his son's life as he was supposed to be. And because at the end of the day, biological fathers can cause a lot of problems, right?
Absolutely.
They might feel the need to flex. They might feel like they don't want you to discipline their kid. You ain't going to look at them like this. You ain't going to talk to them like this. You ain't going to talk to their mama like this. Although sometimes they around and sometimes they not. But biological fathers can really cause some trouble for a new stepdad.
Right. Right.
So I really didn't have that experience.
And they don't always have to.
Opportunity.
That's some cool ones. They said they don't always have to, though.
No, they don't always have to. Like I said, in our situation was good. Now, unfortunately, he passed away. He passed away when my son was 5. So that was really unfortunate. But for the time that I was around, so from 2 to 5, him and I never had any issues. I did what I could for my son, and he did what he could for his son. And so he was winning at the time. My son was winning at the time. He had 2 dads who loved him and was trying to take care of him the best way that, that they could.
Okay.
So my stepdad experience has been much easier than what maybe others have been because he was so young and I was around from that time until now. He's 17 now and I'm the dad that he knows, so I don't feel like a stepdad. We don't even use that terminology.
Yeah, of course.
I don't even know if he's ever been approached with that terminology ever. It's not like we say that around the house. when we go to the school, I don't say, yeah, no, I'm a stepdad. We don't even talk like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes you just don't use that terminology. Like my brother and I didn't know that we were half brothers until I was in the Marine Corps, and I felt like I wanted to try to bring my brother with me, and I wanted to take care of him because my mom was having a really hard time. And the superior at the time, the gunnery sergeant, master sergeant, whatever the hell he was like, but isn't he just your half brother? And I had never been asked that before. I had no idea that my brother was my half brother because we have different dads. I was like, nah, dog, that's my brother. Well, I didn't say nah, dog, obviously, but I was like, no, sir, that's my brother. And so I brought that up because I was just thinking about the whole stepdad terminology. I don't even know if he's been open to that type of term. I don't even know if he looks at me like a stepdad. I'm sure he doesn't look at me like a stepdad. He calls me dad, and I don't know if anybody's ever come to him like that, like, yo, ain't that just your stepdad?
Right.
So I don't know that part of the experience, but for me, it was super easy because it started from a 2-year-old.
Right.
What about you?
So for me, it's a little different, maybe a lot different. So me and my ex started dating like in 98.
Yeah.
Or 99, I guess. It would be 99-ish. Between 98 to 99. And so her daughter was born, or my daughter, whatever you want to, like you said, for the sake of the podcast. My stepdaughter was born, and that sounds even weird to say that, but she was born in 98. And then I came along. Okay. So my ex, she was like a sophomore. She was like 2 grades under me. And so she had told me that her daughter was actually her sister.
Okay.
And so she was just her sister for me for like the first like 3 years or so.
Oh wow. Okay.
And
so that must have been a shocker when that conversation happened, like, yeah, she's not really just my sister.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I remember as I was in college and she told me, and I'm like, oh wow. And I'm like, okay, it's cool because I'm in college. I feel like I'm in love, and it's all good. Because I remember there would be times where like my ex would come over to my house and she would have to bring her quote unquote little sister with her. And I'm like, damn, man, like, why she always got to come all the time?
You trying to get it in.
and really at that time, I guess that's when they were starting, I mean, to what's the word I'm looking for? Transition from the sister to the mother thing. Okay. And so
so I guess she was telling the baby that she was big sister too.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And so fast forward, I basically one day I basically volunteered to be her father because we were sitting in the car and she was just like, well, who is my father? And I was like, I just said I am.
Yeah.
On that day. And I'm leaving a little part out of there, but for the sake of the show, yeah, I just volunteered one day.
Okay.
And so anyway, and so from that day, I became her father. She was old enough to talk at that point, so she was like 3 or 4. But apparently, she didn't remember that conversation or anything.
Yeah, 3-year-old. Yeah, I ain't remember that shit.
Yeah, and so her mother had, I left it up to her. I wasn't gonna bust out the secret, so I never said anything. I never said I never told her that I'm actually not her father, because I didn't feel like that was really my place to do that.
Yeah.
And I kind of left it up to her mother to be like, well, if you don't want to tell her, that's on you. But like her family was just kind of messed up, and I felt like one of these people in your family are gonna tell her one day, and you're gonna have to, you're not gonna be in front of it.
Yourself.
And now you're gonna have to explain yourself. So
you have to explain at a young age, and she probably doesn't remember, because like you said, she's probably 2 or 3, that she wasn't her big sister, that she was her mom. So does she remember that conversation or no?
No, she doesn't remember that at all.
She doesn't remember that conversation. Got it. So she didn't know that took place. All right. I was going to say, because it's kind of like happening twice, that she has to listen to a bombshell, but she doesn't remember the first one that happened.
No, she doesn't remember either of the conversations.
Okay.
And so for me, so even though she was so young, and like when I came around, she had to be like 1. But for me, it seemed like it was always kind of difficult to like create a bond.
Yeah.
It never seemed natural to me, and it just never seemed to really, really happen.
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure how else to explain it other than it just never felt natural.
Okay.
And I worked hard at it too. I did everything that I thought like a father would do. I didn't treat her any different than I would, or that I treated any of my other kids. So it was just kind of weird though for me. And so, yeah, I'm really not sure what that was.
Well, I think I know what it is. So I had my first biological son 5-6 years ago, and I remember being told that, once you have a kid of your own, it's just gonna be different.
Right.
And that's what older folk would tell me. I was like, nah, I love my son, and I'm treating him exactly the same way. And although mentally and logically I was treating him the same way, when I did have my biological son, I did notice the difference in what came natural and what didn't come natural. So what you're speaking of, I feel like when you have a kid, you notice there's things that are just involuntary that just are naturally there, because the kid is of your flesh and the kid is of your gene pool, and it's just slightly different. Yeah. Although you're not trying to make it any different, your body, you just have a natural attraction.
Yeah.
And so in that case, I can see how that could be different, especially for a young girl as well. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the same type of natural attraction.
Right.
As a dad, you kind of got to make it that way. And so I went through that same, and for me, I didn't even realize that that's what it was. I didn't realize that I was making attempts to be a dad. It felt like it was coming natural, but after having a biological son, I do notice that things are just a little bit simpler with the chemistry and the connection, and that's just what life is, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I think that is part of it, but still, to me, it seems like there shouldn't have been, like, if she didn't know. So, like, your son grew up, he knows, but she didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it was just me feeling underappreciated for certain things. Like, if there's an argument, say like with me and her and my ex, right? Like, the whole time I never even used this trump card or whatever you want to call it, but I felt like I changed my whole life, for her. I voluntarily changed my life to be in this situation, and like, you should be showing some appreciation no matter what the situation is. If I didn't take out the trash, you should be like, well, he did, volunteer to,
He did give up his whole life.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm just being, candid right now. That's just kind of what I thought in the back of my mind. I never said it, but, that's what I would think.
But that's how you felt.
And
that's how you honestly felt.
Yeah. And it would be the same thing if my daughter would get an attitude or she's talking crazy or, you know, whatever it may be, it'd be like, man, if you only knew, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe if you knew, it would be, you know, you wouldn't be acting like this.
Yeah, maybe you respect it more. But you know what, though? Just like that connection you felt like was a little broken, I'm sure the connection was hard for her, too, and she just didn't know why. And the reason I'm able to say that is because my last two kitties are my niece and nephew, my wife's niece and nephew, because we had a tragedy in the family, and so we're taking care of them like they're our own.
Yeah.
And again, it was a little easy to slide in because the youngest son, he was 4 months when it happened, and then the middle kid, my daughter, she was 18 months when it happened. Mm-hmm. So they were under 2. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so they don't really remember their biological parents. So it was easy to slide in. So my biological son, will be the oldest, 6 months under that is my daughter, and then another year under that is the youngest. So it's 3 of them together.
Right.
And between the 3 of them, the 2, the youngest, and so the baby girl and the youngest boy, my niece and nephew, they are alike in so many ways. The way that they think, the way that they talk, the way that they cry, the way that they crawl, the way that they walk, their athleticism. They didn't ask for any of that, and it's very, very similar. And all of that is different when it comes to my son, and we're raising them the best that we can the same way, but they're just different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that has nothing to do with the way they feel or with the way that they want to do. It's just what comes natural to them. And so when we're talking about these connections, it's just really involuntary. And so as hard as it was for you, it was probably as hard. It was just as hard for her.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much where I guess I'll end that. So I'll go ahead and toss this in. So she did, just like Jerren Damas had predicted, her family did tell her.
Negro Damas, you on it?
They did eventually tell her.
And how old was she when they told her?
19.
19, okay.
19. And she didn't take that well. So she got mad at her mom, didn't want to talk to her no more, so. As
expected, right? That's a big secret.
It could be as expected. Me personally, I would want answers. I would want to talk about it. She didn't even talk to her about it. Like, I would want to have a conversation.
Yeah, I guess that just depends on the personality type.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's not as expected.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's not as expected, because I don't know. Even a person that's not necessarily
upset. I was trying to say being upset is expected, because there's this big secret about you and your life, and you're 19 and you feel like you know it all already. You should at least know everything about your life, and to find out something so important. How did I not know this already? How did you not tell me this?
Right.
So I can understand being upset. But hell yeah, I have a million questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely have a ton of questions. But so can we move on? You ready to move on to the next phase, or you got anything else for being a stepfather?
Nah, man. Let's move on to the next phase.
All right. So
what is the next
I guess you don't have a next phase. I have a next phase. Or it could have also been the first phase, but I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience of being the new guy. So I'm not a stepfather, but I'm just the new guy. So I'm basically
not a stepfather because you're not married, but you're the gas station guy.
Yeah, I'm James now.
Yeah, you the dude at the gas station who put the TV in the house and is gonna come later with a pool table.
Right. So me and my ex broke up, and I really.
That's why she's an ex.
Yep, and I really didn't want to not be a family person. Like, I enjoyed being, you know, a day-to-day father, right?
Okay.
I loved having, you know, another adult with me. I loved having my kids with me, but I found myself not having any of those things.
Yeah.
And so I very much still wanted that. So, you know, when I was once I was back in these streets, I was having fun, but also was, you know, also looking for a potential person to have an extended relationship with.
Yeah. You was looking for a relationship.
Right. And so I found somebody I liked. And she had a son. He was like 7, I think.
Okay.
And
that's still pretty young too, but that's still young enough to not get the crazy attitude.
No. So I actually think it's like right in between.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's in between.
Okay.
Well, at least from this experience, I felt like it was in between. So, basically, you know, we were dating, and we probably dated like 3 or 4 months before either of us met each other's kids.
Okay.
And I don't really feel like there should be like a time for that per se. I think it's situational.
Not a standard time.
Yeah,
anyway.
like I don't think it should be like, okay, it's been 90 days, let's go ahead and meet. I don't think it should necessarily be that. But I also don't feel like you should be, you know, that same week or nothing, you know, introducing your kids to your new boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, it shouldn't be every person that you meets your kids.
Right.
That's probably not a healthy way to go about dating.
Yeah, so the way we met, the way I met her son, basically she had this kind of beat up car, Cavalier. It was yellow. She had this beat up Cavalier that broke down on her, just kept breaking down. And it broke down on her one night on the South Side, which is the worst place.
Not the safest.
Which is the worst place in the world, in St. Louis at least. And I was like, okay, I'll come get you. And so I went over there to
saving them.
Yeah, I went over there to get her and pick her up. And it was just basically like a really long night because she would get off of work at like 6 or something, and you know, with the whole car thing, it ended up tacking on like an extra 2.5 hours on to the night. And
you put your life at risk, dog. That should be unlimited head without the Father's Day. But go ahead, you put your life at risk.
I did.
Southside.
I did, yeah. And so I get her home. It might be like 8:30 or something. And she's like, I gotta feed my son. You know, because her son would be like, she had a roommate, so her son was just there, I guess, and I guess he didn't eat. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take you to grab something to eat. And she's like, do you mind if he comes along? I'm like, all right, sure. So he comes along. We go to pick up some pizza or something. And she goes in there to pick it up, and I just have like a little conversation with them, like, "Oh, so you like snakes?" I forget what I was looking at, but you know, boys like snakes. They think snakes are cool and that kind of shit, you know.
Did you know it was Shark Week?
Huh?
Did you know it was Shark Week? That's how like that was your icebreaker, bro. So you like snakes?
Yeah.
It's Shark Week next week.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Okay.
So anyway. So, you know, and then after that, you know, it was cool. Eventually I introduced my kids into the situation. And then we started the process, not really started the process, not like intentionally, I guess, but we started doing stuff together. Her kid, my kids, and we would like go and do things together. Basically blend in the family. And so we would travel. We went out of town a couple of times together. Like I said, her car was fucked up. She ended up getting another car. She lost that car. And so I would pick her son up from school. I was doing that like every day. And then picking her up from work. You know, spending a lot of time together. All of us.
Yeah.
I would feed him and everything. I basically tried to treat him just like I would my own kids. You know?
That's fair.
And this is over a big span of time. This wasn't like the next day all this stuff started happening. You know, so I think so let me skip back a little bit. So before I even met him, I remember she would ask me questions, like ask me for advice, like something to be happening in their life or whatever. You know, he might have gotten in trouble at school, or he might be acting up at home, or whatever it was. Yeah. And she would ask me, and
how to handle the situation.
Yeah.
What should she do?
Yeah. What's my suggestion? And I remember like stuff would happen, and I would just sit back and not say anything. And I never do. Like with my friends, like if they're doing something, disciplining a kid, I'm not about to say anything. That's them. They, do what you do. That's how you want to raise your kid, whatever. Now I might be sitting back thinking like, now if that was me, there ain't no way this would have happened. If you asked me, I would definitely give you my thoughts. But so she would always ask me, and so and then there would be times where I'm sitting there, we're all in the car, and he might be saying something wild. He might be lying about something, and I feel like she's not checking him on it. And I'm like, really just biting my tongue. Like I really want to jump in and say something. And I think we might have had like a conversation about it. And, she's just saying she don't know what to do. She don't know what to do. I'm like, well, I mean, I have thoughts. Would you want me to say something? And she's like, all right, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, yeah, please do, basically. And so, like I said, he kind of has some behavior issues. And, I would think of ways to, and of course we had a conversation about this, but to discipline him. And I don't whip my own kids. I never put hands on my kids. So I certainly wasn't going to put hands on hers,
Okay.
And when you were telling the story about, your mother's husband, about how, he came in setting times and all this, I actually did similar things. So like there would be like, she would ask him, hey, do you want to eat? Are you ready to eat like dinner? And he'd be like, what do you mean you ready to eat?
Are you ready?
Yeah. Don't give him an option. Like just sit him down and eat. And if he don't eat, or if he don't eat it all, good night. You're not eating dinner no more.
Okay.
He was like wetting the bed, and he would always be asking for water. That's what all bedwetters do. They always ask for water and shit right before they about to go to sleep. And it's like, no, you got to cut him off. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, or whatever. So he'll stop wetting the bed. I would always like be saying stuff, kind of coaching her through it. I mean, I've had 3 kids at this point.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, he had behavior issues. Oh, so the way I would discipline him,
you had him kneeling rice.
Huh?
You had him kneeling in rice.
So you're kind of muffled right now.
I was saying you had him kneeling in rice.
No, not kneeling in rice. I had him. I would have him do wall sits though.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. A little commercial break.
Is that real?
Yeah, it's real. My bad. I accidentally.
He really broke his ankles?
Yeah, I accidentally touched the thing. My bad. So, so what I would do is I would have him do wall sits. You know what wall sits are, right? You put your back against the wall. You put your legs parallel, your like thigh or quads parallel to the floor, and you basically sit there with your hands up.
And in the Marine Corps, you would hold a weight, like a 25-pound weight, and it was called Drive My Car.
Okay,
so
that's what's up.
You had to You had to, no, it's not. It's really not what's up. And you had to turn the weight like it was a steering wheel.
Yeah.
And yeah, drive my car.
Yeah, I used to do that in the weight room actually. Not for punishment though. So yeah, but of course he didn't have to hold anything. But I would have him do that. And that normally got the point across, that satisfied the punishment for me most of the time. And so then, man, like my kids, well, my youngest, he's kind of a rowdy kid. He was like 2 years younger than her son. They just didn't seem to get along very well. They would always be fighting. I guess their personalities clashed, and not like, it's not like all out brawls or anything, but it would just always be constant bickering.
It was always some shit going on.
Yeah, it's just always something. And that shit was annoying, man. That shit was really annoying. And so I feel like, me and his mom had issues, but ultimately those issues along with this, like that kind of the stress of like trying to raise another kid voluntarily, ultimately led to the breakup. Not that it was really him.
Taste in your mouth. You had a bad taste in your mouth from like when you sat down to think about it, you was thinking about you've already did this volunteer job before.
Yeah.
And this is kind of tough. Did that have anything to do with it?
I don't know if it was. I don't feel like it was really that, because if he was more well behaved, I probably would have had a bit more patience with the whole situation. Okay. So I learned a lot about myself and my level of patience and what I would be willing to tolerate in a relationship going forward. So and again, man, I never I never treated him differently or anything. I tried to treat him just like as if he was my own. Speaking of, you opened up the show talking about stepfathers, or the biological father.
Yeah. His
biological father was cool. He was, we actually hung out a couple of times.
Okay.
He lived across the country, so I wouldn't say he was absentee. But he wasn't there.
But he wasn't available either.
Yeah. So, but this was a situation where he was cool. He was perfectly fine. We never had any problems. And, so nothing but high marks for him. There's a lot. I was with this girl for like a year. So, okay. I can't go over all of that on the show, but yeah, I did learn that I will be aware of that type of situation from here on out.
Meaning that you wouldn't deal with a woman that has kids? What do you mean be aware of the situation?
I will. That would be part of my vetting process. I would be looking at the kids to determine if I want to deal with this. And I probably really didn't need to even look at the kids. I could have just listened to how many complaints she had and how much she was struggling to know, this probably to know that this probably to parent, that to know that this probably wasn't a situation that was fit for me
to step into.
But I didn't know that at that time. I thought I could come in and be like, oh man, this is easy,
Yeah.
And if I would have stuck in there, I probably could have, but why the fuck do I got to do that?
Yeah, it'd have been a lot more work than maybe you wanted to sign up for. But that's the thing that we promote as the Corporate Streetz. We talk about if people show you who they are, you need to believe them.
Yeah.
So if people are saying that they got problems with their kids, you need to believe them. And if they having problems with their own flesh and blood, then maybe you need to step away until they can figure that thing out. Because that's one thing I will say.
It depends. I think it depends.
Yeah, it depends. It's definitely situational. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to walk into no hell situation unless you prepared to
Well,
to counsel everybody.
well, it didn't
You know
seem
what
like
I'm
it was going to be a hell situation, though. If to me, what it seemed like, and what I still believe it was simply a kid who was being raised by someone who wasn't quite ready. You know, they didn't have the knowledge to do it, and they really didn't have a lot of help either. Like, the father was gone pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he didn't have a male figure in his life at all. You know, no one consistent, at least.
Yeah.
And I feel like if he would have had, that was a lot of the things he would do. I felt like that would be something a father would have checked him on, or a father could have taught him, you know, like, that's not the way it's done.
Yeah.
And she just never checked him on those things. So I don't feel like it was necessarily a hell situation, or it definitely didn't start off as that. Was it? I wouldn't say with him it was a hell situation ever. It was just, it would have took some work, but I would have been willing to put that work in. But there's other things beyond, you know, just the kid situation.
Just the
you know,
just the kid work.
yeah, there was also
there was work. There was work in the relationship.
Exactly.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm too young for that. Fuck that. Exactly.
So as a stepdad or as a woman or man who has to introduce the new man or woman, when do you show the kids to the new guy? So we talked about that it shouldn't be a hard 3 months, 2 months, 4 months. It is situational. But what are some keys or some clues that let you know that, you know what, it might be okay?
I think you can listen to how they talk about their own kid, right? And assuming they have a kid, right?
Yeah.
Just listen to how they talk about their own kid and the struggles they might have with their own kid, or how well their kid may be doing, or and then you could kind of just gauge if they're a good parent or not.
Okay.
And, you know, if this would be a good person to have around your own kids. Like, so if I'm a female and a guy is telling me that, oh man, my baby mama never let me see my kids and he's always complaining about this shit, you know, it could be just a crazy baby mama situation, but I might be a little hesitant. Or again, like in my case, where there was just constant complaining, and she was like really stressed out about this kid. The girl who I was dating, she was really stressed out about this kid, and just kind of listening to her interactions. Some of them was really good interactions. It was cool, like the way she would like read to him and stuff every night and that kind of thing. And even she kind of slowed down on that now that I think about it. But that might have been some introductory, some bad shit. But
she had that mask on for a little bit.
But you can just kind of read how they are with their own kids, and I think so. However long that takes for you to get comfortable with it, you know, that's how long I think it should take.
That's the guy being vocal, saying like, nah, this is not the time yet. I was saying from because what you're saying, you're saying that the guy is gauging the way that she talks about the kid and her interactions with the kid.
Yeah.
But as a woman or a man introducing the new person to your kids, when do you do that?
That's what I'm saying. I'm still saying, like, again, if they have kids, you can just
listen to how they interact with their own kids.
Right. You could just read how they are with their own kids. And, you know, and I think this should also come after meeting, like, your friends, you know, taking them out a couple of times, you know, see them in what could potentially be a stressful situation. So you go to the Waffle House, and the Waffle House charges you $1.50. Do they, you know, for some orange juice you didn't get, do they wild out and get arrested? Or, you know, do they play it cool and keep it professional? You know, a person like flipping out, that can tell you, I mean, obviously for the relationship itself, but, you know, if the person's unstable about somebody not really working with them in the way that they want it, well, that can also indicate that they might not have the patience for it, especially if you got small kids.
It could, and maybe it could, and maybe not. Maybe that adult just don't like being played, but maybe they're really gentle with little kids.
Well, but if you got a kid that, you know, is gonna be, you know, testing them a lot, again, you know, you might not, that might not be the one.
All right, so that's one angle. An angle that I think is important is understanding what your relationship is going to be with this new person. And so if this person is just going to be a hangout, a fuck buddy, or anything of that nature, maybe you don't want to introduce your kids so soon.
Well, I think
you want to just keep your relationship on the line.
I think that goes without saying, though, right? I mean,
nah, that doesn't go.
Well, you think people are introducing their fuck buddies to their kids?
People are introducing whoever they meet to their kids.
I would like to think that people who listen to this show are smarter than that to be just introducing any nobody to their.
With it. I mean, even if you introducing them as Uncle Joe.
Do you know somebody like that?
That introduces their kids to people? Yeah.
You know people like that?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody like that. Like personally, like my actual circle of people who I talk to every now and then on the phone and that kind of thing. I don't know anybody like that.
Okay. I'm saying, but you're saying your closest circle, your small circle of friends, so maybe they have the wherewithal to not introduce everybody that they meet. But you know somebody who's introducing people that are not exactly going to be long-term relationships.
I mean, you mean just like I know somebody who has AIDS, but I just don't know him? Like I just don't know they have AIDS? You mean like that kind of know him? Or do you mean...
Well, nah, I'm saying...
I mean, because like, of course, by proxy...
It's more common...
I know somebody.
It's more common than what you are saying.
I don't think it is.
I think it is. Like I
said, I don't know anybody.
Even having guy friends that, you know, go over to a chick's house and they're going in the daytime and they're kicking it with the chick and the kids are there.
And so, okay, so speaking of that, so before I met him, before I met the girl I was dating, before I met her son, I would be over there, but we would take special care. Like I wouldn't go over there like while he was woke. You know, I would be smashing his mom in the next room, and that would be just that. You know, he wouldn't ever be around. I was taking very special care not to be seen by him until, you know, it was really time for that.
So that's what I'm saying. So you're taking the special care, but there are people out there who don't look at that.
And so was she. Huh? I mean, I'm not saying there's nobody. I'm just saying that I just don't think people are just willy-nilly introducing all their kids to every nigga that comes to their house.
And I'm not saying that they're doing that either, but I'm saying that there are people out there who aren't taking the special care and making sure that the kids are asleep every time. And so all I'm noting is that it's important that you want to make sure you know what this relationship is going to be before you introduce your kids to them. Because even if you hanging out with the guy for 2 months, time is not the factor. The factor seems like it'll be more about, well, what are you guys planning to be? Because even if it's 2 months now and you introduce him to the kid, that next month y'all get into it, or he get caught doing whatever, or she get caught doing whatever, and y'all not an idol no more. That's another body that kid had to see. So that's all I was getting at. It's not uncommon, is what I'm saying. It's not uncommon.
I don't think you could say that it's not uncommon.
I can.
To say it's not uncommon is to say it's common.
Not exactly. I didn't say it was common. I didn't say that. You putting words in my mouth now. I'm saying it's not uncommon. It's not far-fetched. It's not something that doesn't happen.
I never said that either.
I'm not saying that it happens.
I never said it never happened.
7 out of 8 times. I'm not saying that.
So how often do you think it happens?
7 out of 8 times.
Since you're talking numbers, how often do you think it happens then?
I'm not talking numbers.
You just dropped 7 out
But
of...
you're talking about common.
How often do you think it happens?
I'm just saying that it's not uncommon.
How often? If you wanted to put a number to it,
I'm just saying,
if you had to put a number to it, how often do you think it happens?
I don't know. Let's say 5 out of 10.
50% of the time, you think that happens?
Sure.
Nah, man. I think that's over. I don't think that's over. So what are you calling over? This is not like the people I'm talking about.
What are you calling over? What I'm saying is there are at least 50% of the people out there that introduce their kids before they really know what the relationship is going to be. And if you say 50% is over, I definitely don't agree with that. Because how many times is it that you dealing with a woman or a guy and they have no idea what they are?
What you mean?
Are we dating? Are we not? Are we an item? Are we not?
Gotcha.
The chick catching feelings or the guy catching feelings? And so all I'm saying is that you should know what you are before you introduce your kids. And I would say that 50% or more don't know what they are before they introducing their kids to this person.
And all I'm saying is, in my dating life, most of the people that I talk to, and I'm trying to think, there may have been... So most of the people that I've talked to have been, none of them were like really gung ho on, hey, let's have our kids meet up or anything like that. Or, hey, come on over, my son's here, no big deal. They're always trying to get a babysitter to get them up out of there, or come over later, or let's meet over here. And just so I'm not trying to sit here and make it sound like I'm trying to fight for my own little argument here, there was one where our kids met early, but we wasn't really talking like that. But it was like on some there's this event kind of thing. Go ahead, bring the, let's go to this church carnival kind of thing.
Okay.
And that was just that. It wasn't like we didn't go there together or anything. We met up there, and that was just it. It was just, and we wasn't even really together like that.
So for every one group that's responsible, for every one couple that are hanging out that's that responsible, there's 2 that are not. That's what I'm saying.
Dude. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying. You're bringing up statistics as if, like, what are you basing this off of? That's what I'm saying. I just told you my breakdown.
So I'm saying you started this whole thing based on that it just doesn't happen, and you just admitted that you just did the shit.
No, I didn't do the shit. Like, I didn't have somebody.
No matter how gentle it was, you did it. You introduced before you were sure what your
so out of the 10 people
introduced.
Out of the 10, but I wasn't introducing like this was my girl, or it wasn't like a situation like where the kid was or they were in close proximity of each other like that. We both met at the thing and kind of basically did our own thing.
Yo, look, you can Windex wipe it clean all you want, however clean you want to get it. All I simply said was, if you're going to be introducing your kids to other kids, or you're going to be introducing your kids to
the other grown-ups,
other people,
you're grown up.
Yeah, other people that you're dealing with, it might be a good idea that you know where you guys are going.
Okay, so I knew that I wasn't going to be fucking with this chick like that.
Okay, and since you knew that, it sounds like you kept the kids separate at this event as much as you could. You didn't get a whole bunch of FaceTime with the chick and the kids, and that's great.
That was actually the last time I saw her. But
y'all went to a church event and that was it.
Dude, I get nah, I don't know, man. It could be like just at the spur of the moment that I just get turned off on a person. And once it's off, it's off. I can't remember what she did, but
it ain't no turning it back on.
Yeah, it's off, man. So
she lost out.
So it's the end of her chapter.
Damn, that's unfortunate. Now that one moment, since we're talking about it, because it happens to most stepdads. That phrase, it's the phrase that you ain't trying to hear because, well, if you ain't a piece of shit, if you a piece of shit, there ain't much you can say about it anyway. You deserve the phrase. But if you ain't a piece of shit, if you the man and you doing your thing at home and you're doing everything you can, this is the phrase you don't want to hear. You ain't my daddy anyway. You ain't my real dad anyway. How do you handle that?
I'll be like,
handle something like
I'll easy. I'll be like, I ain't trying to be your father. Fuck your fort, little nigga, and kick his fucking fort down.
That's what you'll do?
Yeah.
You gonna teach him about guns and butter?
Yeah, basically. But I feel like the way I am, I wouldn't. It's kind of hard to say. I wouldn't be put in that situation. Like I don't know, like with the kid,
but
like the kid.
It really ain't about you though.
Well, like,
it ain't about you.
No,
it's about something that you do.
No, I'm saying though. I think if you carry yourself a certain way, and because this is obviously a younger kid saying this to you, right?
Or it could be an older kid. It could be an older kid.
Like that sounds like some young shit to say. Like I don't see myself at 17 being like, you ain't my daddy.
I can see that. I can see it, nigga. You ain't my daddy.
And so in different situations or different ages,
you can't see that though. You can't see that conversation, nigga. You ain't my daddy.
Okay, so let's go with that.
Let's
go with that with the 18 or what a 17-year-old, right?
I wasn't going there, but since we talked about
it. My point is that it differs. It would be different for different age groups.
Okay.
I would handle it differently for different age groups.
Okay, younger age group.
So a younger age group, like how young are we talking?
I don't know, 10 to 13.
Oh, it might be younger. Like with my situation where the kid was 7. It wouldn't have even come up like that because I never did anything to try to make it seem like I was his daddy.
Maybe you turned off Paw Patrol.
And it would be like, it's time for bed. And okay, so when I did step in and start trying to, help out basically.
Yeah.
You have to kind of establish, like I always say, it's kind of like dog training. You have to establish pack structure.
Okay.
Right. You establish dominance, and I'm not saying you got to do it by holding them down on the floor by the scruff of his neck, but I'm just saying when you show that you don't take shit and you're fair though, right? I think the respect is there to where that would have never even came up. And like with his father, it's not like I was ever trying to go against anything his father told him, or I never said that, whatever your father told you was wrong. I never did no shit like that. He saw me hanging out with his father. So I don't feel like that would have ever even happened.
Okay. That's at the young
and
age,
and I feel like that would carry over for any ages, to be honest. A little older, and then like if you're talking about the oldest age, so are we gonna cap it off at 17? This sounds ridiculous for a person older than that to be doing that.
After after 17, 18, they shouldn't be in your house anyway.
It shouldn't even
talking like that.
It shouldn't
talking like that.
It shouldn't even be a situation. First of all, again, if you listen to this show and then you go into a situation where you're getting serious with a chick and you're about to meet the kids and all that, and you already know if that kid is that fucking nuts, you shouldn't even be in that situation if you can't take it.
Okay.
If you can't take it. I have a friend who has a stepdaughter who's wilding. I mean, she was out all the time, staying out with boys. Mom wasn't really doing shit. It wasn't really much he can do because mom wasn't really supportive. I mean, mom was letting her wild out. And so, you know, he was kind of stressing over this shit because, you know, he looked at her, you know, he tried to treat her like, you know, like his own as best as he could, even though she was older.
Right. Yep.
She probably was on
to bring the structure.
And she probably was on that, you know, you ain't my daddy shit. And she had a daddy that was around. So I don't know, man. I'm not really sure what he could have did. I feel like maybe something was missed there, or he didn't do what he needed to do to bond with her, or they just, like I said, that pack structure never was established.
All right, so
You know?
I would say we're like a younger kid. So the reason that this question came about, is because I was talking to a friend, and he was being a stepfather to this kid. He'd been around this kid since she was younger. Much younger, I say about 3 or 4, and her dad ain't about shit.
And she said that? How old is she? How old is she now?
When she right now, I think she's 13 or 14.
And she said that?
No, she said it when she was younger. She said it when she was like 8 or 9, and it was based on him not a lot. So it was a magazine. He told me that there was a magazine that like an aunt gave her, but the magazine says for 14 and up. And he told her, you can't have that magazine. You're not old enough. She didn't like that. So she didn't say it to him. She said it to the mom. She's like, but mom, he's not even my real dad. And the mom was like, oh, really?
Mom should have smacked her up.
So the mom was like, why don't you go tell him that?
Nah.
And,
okay, go ahead.
And she ain't had the guts to go tell him that. And so she told him, don't ever say that again. And that was.
So that's the other thing. And I like that mom, you know, had his back on that.
Yeah.
You know, she kind of checked it immediately. That's the other thing. Like the actual biological mom in this case has to do that.
Yeah.
They gotta be on that.
If you're gonna be dealing with this man and this man is going all out to take care of you or try to be there for you, be in a relationship for you, and treat your kid like that's his own kid, when the kids start wilding out like that, saying shit like that, you gotta come to old boy's defense.
And mom has to hard check it. You know, any form of trying to act like you're not equal,
reason with it,
or no, yeah. Like if the kid is acting like, oh, you're not equal, you have no control over me. Nah, mom has to check that, because this person, we're talking about a married person, we're talking about a married couple at this point, right?
No, so in this case, they weren't married; they were dating. They had been dating for years, though.
For 10 years?
They weren't married. No, I didn't say it was 10 years.
You said she was 13. You said you've been around since she was 3, and she's 13 now. You said at that point she was only 5. It was only 5 years.
Yeah. And
still,
so
5 years
they
is a
broke
long
up
fucking
now,
time.
and he's still around.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so 5.
Yeah.
So he was around for 5 years. That's still a long fucking time.
It is,
especially when you got
for all indications, he was doing his best to be a dad to her, and he didn't have any biological kids of his own. He was doing his absolute best to be a father to her, because her biological father wasn't shit. So, but kudos to moms for actually stepping up and checking the situation to make sure that didn't happen again.
I would say I wouldn't even take it personal, man. Especially at that age. I think I would just be like, if she would have actually said it to him, if it was me, I would just be like, all right. And I would just go, just tell the mom and let mom deal with it.
Yep. And then you'll be petty after that. Be like, I would get you some juice, but hey,
I ain't your daddy.
You'll be like super petty. You come in with like some burgers and shit and be like, I would get my daughter some, but I don't have a daughter in the room, so I guess you don't want one of these burgers then. Y'all extra petty. I was gonna suggest the same thing though. I was gonna suggest that if that does happen, and it's a young kid who you know is just throwing a tantrum because they're not getting their way, and you're trying to give the structure. Like the same thing. Like for me, I was upset. I was a little older, but still, I was upset. I never said that. Oh, I was calling my mama's husband, so I was basically saying that he ain't my real dad. But
he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. I was telling the truth, right?
Dude, I think that's the most
say,
respectful way to say it, because you're calling him what he is, and he's not your father. He is your mother's husband. He's nothing more to you.
Yeah.
You too fucking old for that. I got a daddy.
Yeah, and he's around. And
yeah,
he's doing
exactly.
a bang-up job.
Exactly. So it should be easy for you.
I don't need a new teammate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no free agent spot that's open. None of that.
Yeah.
Everything's closed for business. We picked teams already. You came too late, homie. You came a little too late.
And you weren't like a troubled kid. Like, you know, you weren't doing bad things at school or nothing where, like I said, in my situation where I had to help the girl out.
Yeah.
So.
And he wasn't like an all-star that was taking us on yachts or nothing. So, I mean, the team was the team already. I had the all-star dad already. I was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But anyway, you got a young kid that's saying some wild shit like that. Just relax. They just being mad. They'll get it together. They'll forget they said that shit. But you got a half-grown kid at 17 that's saying like that. You punch him in his mouth. So he don't say that shit no more. No, don't do that. You go to jail. But yeah, that'll be much harder. What do you do for a damn near adult, 16, 17, 18, 19, still staying home with mom?
Again,
coming at you like, yo, you ain't my dad. You don't tell me what to do.
At that point,
so I hear what you're saying. You saying that you have to have pack structure.
How long have they been around, or how long you been around them? See, all these things matter. So, I mean, I think it's different for each situation. Like, if you just popped up, it would be like, well, first of all, if I just popped up, you know, just around for a couple of years, and they 17,
yeah,
I don't really feel like, again, I don't feel like there should be a situation where they have to say that. Like, what the fuck did I do to make them say some stuff like that? I'm just not that type of person.
You told them that, yo, I need you to, you know, you need to wash that bowl out, that cereal bowl. You need to wash that out since you just ate cereal before you go out. You know what I'm saying? You need to make sure you. And
they say, okay, cool. All right, cool. So in the end, they say, you're not my daddy. You don't tell me what to do. And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna let your mom know. And that's it. That's pretty much, that would be the way I would handle it. And I don't know, man. Like, at that age, I don't even feel like I really even need to be involved with that kid like that.
Yeah, they did pretty much all the growing they need to do. And if they need your help, they'll ask you.
And if I don't know if I would say like, hey, you better get that. You know, I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't be like, hey, you got to wash that dish. You messed it up. I'm like, hey, you better get that dish clean before your mom gets home. I mean, that's like the way I would word it. I wouldn't just word it like, hey, go pick this shit up. I don't know, man. Like, it's just that's a tough one for me.
Yeah, I feel that. Or maybe you've been around for 2 or 3 years. You know, when they was 14, they 17 now.
Still too old.
And okay, they 12. Say that they 12 and they 17 now. You've been around for 5 years. You know, when kids start rebelling as teenagers, everybody's a casualty. They don't give a damn who they're rebelling against. And they tell you, who you talking to? You ain't my dad. Who you talking to? You ain't telling me nothing. You've been around for 5 years.
Yeah, I still would probably do the same thing. I would be like, you're right. You can go ahead and do what you want to
do. You know what? And I'm with that. I would agree with that. I would probably take the same approach as well. Because, like, I mean, you can't fight the kid. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is get your ass whooped, number one. That's the last thing you want to do. Because you'll never get that respect. But hell, the woman wouldn't even respect you after that. And then, you know, the next thing is just to see how that woman is going to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, what is she going to do to fix it? Because if she can't fix it, you might need to stop that situation. You know what I'm saying? Or you might need to move out, or you might need to. That's some ammunition to break up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If the kid is staying there and you trying to be there, or you trying to be together, and the kid is like giving you a really hard time and she not doing anything to fix it, she don't have control over her kid, that might be a reason not to deal with her.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying about the little kid, man. That's what I was saying. Like when you see,
you was being Negro Domus again.
When you see that the kid is out of control, are you really about that life to step in and try to help out with that shit? You know? And
that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, man. So, and one last thing. So, going back to being the new guy. And so with the kid I was talking about, I would like to think, so I know in his young mind, you know, and maybe for the years to come, he might think I was an asshole. He could. I don't know. I would like to think he wouldn't, because I did try to do some good things and have fun times and that kind of stuff with him. I definitely feel like it definitely outweighed the bad stuff, or the what he could perceive as negative times.
Yeah,
but,
the unhappy times.
But I mean, basically, man, my goal, like, especially when showing him, was just how a guy should be treating his mom.
Yeah.
You know, a guy, whoever might come along later, you know, this is how your mom should be treated. This is how you should treat a woman. So hopefully he at least got that out of it. He probably didn't. He probably don't give a fuck, you know, but that's the other thing, man. I was getting so just fucking stressed about like dealing with stuff with him, man. It was just like I said, I learned a lot about myself.
There you go.
I learned a lot, man.
That young man had way too much control of the situation.
Yeah.
On her side and your side. 'Cause if they stressing out adults.
Yeah.
That's rough. That's a rough time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And if nothing else, stepdads, step boyfriends, people that's coming in the picture, the new guy, the least you can do is be a fucking role model, okay? Because if the kid already don't have nobody in their life, they don't need another fucking deadbeat. So if you know you're going to be a deadbeat, don't get with a chick that got kids. You know what I'm saying? So be accountable, be a leader, lead by example. And just what Jerren was just saying, man, just make sure you show the kid how a woman is supposed to be treated. Don't be going in there being a jackass and bringing a lot of turmoil, because they probably already have a difficult life because it's their mom is a single parent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So don't make shit harder to have two people in the house and shit is still hard. You know how disappointing that is? Like, why are you even here? You know that phrase, I could do bad by myself?
Right.
Like, yo, we was hurting before you got here, dog. Like, shit's supposed to be better now that you're around. My mom's getting dick on a frequent basis. You supposed to be making her happy. You know what I'm saying?
At least bring some fucking snacks into the house. Like, what are you doing?
You know what I'm saying? Dog, at least make, like, she should be happier with you around, bro. Don't be coming around and you making her more mad, because I ain't gonna want you there either. We were like, yo, you gonna tell this, like, when you gonna stop him from coming around? You just mad all the time when he here. So,
yeah, that ain't no good, man.
That ain't no fucking good. All right, you got anything to close it out, Jerren? You got something?
No, I'm good, man. Just stay, kicking out them forts. You know what that's from, right?
Keep teaching about guns and better.
Yeah, kicking them forts down, bro.
All right, you can be listening to anyone in the world right now, however you listening to us, and we definitely appreciate that. You know what Jerren said, we the only media you should be listening to. But in case you cheating on us, make sure you check for us. Keep us in a rotation. We have another production, the Corporate Streetz Powercast. We read the book, The 48 Laws of Power. You need to check it. Jerren, whatever you're doing right now, stop it because it's making a lot of noise.
Yeah, I see that. Sorry.
Damn. We closing out, dog. Put that shit down.
My bad, man. I'm trying to see what's on the gram.
All right. Whether you corporate, whether you street, you want control of your life. I ain't looking at that. Those look hard. Those are actually pretty hard.
IKEA Yeezys.
Those are pretty hard, dog. I like the color scheme. Whether you corporate or whether you street, regardless of your mentality, take control of your life. We know you want that power. Go check out the Powercast. If you want to email us, thecorporatestreetz@gmail.com. You need help handling the situation, drop us a line. We are the advice connoisseurs. You can hit us up on Twitter @CorpStreetz, and you know what you're listening to. This is the Corporate Streetz podcast. This is the podcast for people who tell their 3-year-old to play sleep in a stroller at the entry point to Disneyland, because we ain't paying $110 to get them in. Peace. Dog, 2 and under are free. Tell me why a 3-year-old is going to be $110. What can they possibly do? What can they possibly do with 3 to be $110? 2, 3, same shit, dog. We out. I ain't paying.